Let me show you how I made this adorable Candyland cupcake. So first I'm just taking a cupcake dummy and I'm taking a hot knife and I'm going to cut off the dome top. And I went ahead and I added some lightweight spackle to the top just to make it really flat and even, and when that dried I went ahead and sanded that. Next I added some Mod Podge all the way around, and then I'm going to go ahead and add some chunky glitter. This is one of my favorite glitters. It's from Hobby Lobby. It's the Party Blend. It has a mix of chunky and fine in it. And I'm gonna go ahead and put that all the way around. Next, I'm going to make my fake puffy paint sauce, and I do that with Mod Podge, some white spackling, and some paint. I do have a video for that. It's under Fake Bake Basics playlist if you want to know the full recipe. And then what I do after I make the sauce is I go ahead and put it into a squeezy bottle. You could also put it into a frosting bag or just a little Ziploc baggie to get it out. Now here's where you'll have to just trust the process. I know we already glittered this, but I'm going to put the fake sauce over it, and then I'm going to sort of wipe it off a little bit so you get just this little glimmer and you get this really amazing texture on your cupcake bottom. You'll just have to trust me. This is how I do this. And you can see here, I'm just kind of taking off a little bit of it. I want the paint to be kind of sheer. And you can see that beautiful little gleam under there. Isn't that beautiful? And look at that texture. So next I'm going to take the lightweight spackling. I like to use DAP. You can use whatever you want. But this is my favorite color from Michaels. It's called Rosemary, and it makes this really beautiful light pink when you mix it with white. So now I just put the fake frosting into this frosting bag, and then I'm using a 1M tip. And then I'm going to go ahead and start piping on the layers of the frosting. Now first, what you want to do is you want to make like a little peak in the middle. This is something so that it helps stabilize the rest of the fake whipped cream or fake frosting. Now it's up to you, but I like to wait until that little peak dries. And then I also smear some of the pink around just so that the frosting sticks to itself. Sometimes it doesn't want to lay down on every surface. And if you do allow that middle to dry overnight, you're going to have a lot more stability. But here I'm just going to take the frosting and I'm going to go all the way out to the edge here, and then I'm just making a ruffle. I'm making an extra kind of wave motion so that I have a very frilly and girly and ruffly cupcake. Now what I always do is I take a damp, clean paintbrush and I go over all the ruffles. I'm looking for any rough edges, any air bubbles, and I just go through and fix those. It's just something that I like to do to make my cupcake look more perfect. Now before this dries, you want to go ahead and add some glitter. So this is just from Michaels. It's just a light pink and it has a chunky on the other side, but I'm just going to go ahead and use the fine. Now again, it's up to you, but I like to let my layers dry. So I wait a day between this because for one thing, it will give you more stability. And for another, if you mess up, you can always scrape off your second layer and then just redo that rather than having to redo everything. And again, you'll see me take my paintbrush and I'm gonna fix these little flaws that I see. So now you see me here doing the third and final layer, and then I'm gonna go through it with my paintbrush again, and then I'm gonna go ahead and add some glitter on top of it too. Now I really wanted to top it with a lollipop, but I didn't have one that matched exactly. So I just took the same paint that I colored the bottom of the cupcake with, and I just carefully went over. First I took some chalk paint so that the surface would accept the color that I wanted better. And I went over all the blue here, and then I'm gonna go over with the mint color. So now I'm just going over the whole thing with some Mod Podge, and then I'm going to put some fine translucent glitter over the top. And any flaws that are on there, you're not really going to see them once everything is blended together. So while the frosting is still wet, I'm going to go ahead and put in that lollipop so that it's nice and secure. Next, I'm taking this dimensional paint. It's by Stickles. It's called Icicle. It's one of my favorites. And unfortunately, though, it does get really clogged really easily. But you just want to go around the cupcake with this and make it look like it has little drips. And unfortunately, it kept getting clogged. So I just ended up cutting off the top. And then I'm going to use the bottom of a Q-tip. And then I'm just going to add the drips by hand. Now you can display this cupcake as is, but I want to make it into a tree pick. So I'm going to add a dowel. This is a very teeny tiny skinny dowel, the skinniest ones I've ever seen. I can't remember the size, but I'm just going to take my hot knife and I'm going to go ahead and push that in there, not too far. You don't want to go all the way up through the cupcake. And then I'm going to insert that dowel, and then you don't have to, but just to make it look a little bit prettier, I am going to add a paper straw to it. So I just added some glue into the straw, and then I'm just putting it on that dowel, and then I'm just going to push it into the cupcake. And here I'm cleaning up the excess glue. And here you can see your adorable pastel Winter Wonderland cupcake tree pick. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe. You can also find me on Facebook, facebook.com/lollipoplady. I'll see you next week for a new tutorial.